Science has given us explanation for a lot of things, but once in a while, there's some things that just don't have enough evidence for even the experts to be able to tell us what's happening. Here's some of the biggest unexplained mysteries that we still don't have a conclusive answer for. 19. The Taos hum. You might have heard, pun intended, of that mysterious noise plaguing the town of Taos, New Mexico. Dubbed the Taos hum, this strange humming noise remains a mystery to scientific experts. People first reported hearing the hum during the early 90s, with 2% of the residents supposedly able to hear it, a percentile called the hearers. Since some of these hearers describe seemingly different noises, a few scientists guess this may all just be subjective reports instead of being the same thing everyone's experiencing. The same phenomenon has occurred in other parts of the world. Most point to operation of machinery as being the culprit, though things like tinnitus or even animals have also been offered as explanations. 18. The elusive Sasquatches of the world. Arguably, the most famous simian cryptid of them all is Bigfoot, but tales and sightings of similar creatures stem from other parts of the world, in general describing a huge ape-like figure covered in hair. And despite most reports of such a creature being so tall, there has yet to be conclusive evidence of the existence of Bigfoot, or the Yeti, Yowie, Sasquatch, or whatever you call them. Bigfoot apparently weighs about 500 pounds and has been said to be between 6 to over 10 feet tall. History shows that the first time the name Bigfoot officially appeared was in the late 1800s, originating in the Pacific Northwest. Despite new sightings every year, no one has ever proven or reported actually coming into contact with Bigfoot. 17. Pyramid power. Sure, the phrase pyramid power sounds like some cornball superpower from some cartoon show, but it's a real thing. Or at least, people believe it to be a real thing. Pyramid power refers to the phenomenon of the shape of the pyramids able to focus cosmic energy and even sharpen razor blades. The Giza pyramids already get surrounded with enough mystery as their magnitude and lasting structure baffled historians who could not come up with one explanation as to how ancient peoples with the lack of technology we have in the present could build such monuments. And since radio engineer Carol Durable proposed the existence of pyramid power in the 1940s, the pseudoscientific mystery took shape. 16. Unidentified flying objects. We could chalk up reports of UFOs as either people making it up or mistaking airplanes, drones, or flying animals as alien spacecraft. The United States Air Force first coined the term unidentified flying object in 1953, as reports of flying saucers became prevalent in the past decade. It refers to any kind of airborne object that does not conform to any presently known aircraft. Studies explain that most of these objects turn out to be balloons, certain clouds, aircraft, or even meteors, further suggesting that aliens do not exist, in our atmosphere at least. 15. Before the Vikings. It gets a little confusing sometimes when talking about who discovered the New World, or the Americas first. In American history, we're taught that we owe Christopher Columbus for coming all the way from Europe and discovering North America. But then you learn that, no, actually it was the Vikings of Scandinavia that first rowed their boats across the Atlantic and found what was considered the New World. But in 2013, evidence of human colonization on the Faroe Islands of Norway was found, as if they were on their way to the Americas. Research on the archaeological site on the island of Sandoy shows evidence of patches of burnt peat ash, the result of human activity, which dates back to the 4th to 8th centuries. But researchers have yet to find out who exactly these people were. 14. Ball lightning. Something debatably more frightening than lightning in general would be if that lightning arrived in some huge ball of energy that can't be explained. Thankfully, lots of occurrences of ball lightning can be as small as a snow pea. But at times, they can be a few meters in diameter. For centuries, scientists considered ball lightning to be a highly unlikely occurrence, despite the enormous amount of reports. And it wasn't until the 1960s did ball lightning really take flight as a real scientific phenomenon. But it stayed that, a phenomenon. As scientists cannot pin down an exact explanation as to why this atmospheric electrical phenomenon occurs, only that it does and is highly unpredictable. 13. The Bermuda Triangle. One of the biggest mysteries in the world can be found between the points of Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico, a region in the North Atlantic Ocean that has supposedly been the site of the disappearance of aircraft and marine vessels. The number might seem higher than usual compared to other places, but it should also be noted that lots of traffic via these two types of transportation occurs in the Bermuda Triangle, which probably lends a lot to the theory that so many disappear. The earliest recorded report of unusual disappearance in this region took place in 1950. Since then, it has earned a reputation for being a mysterious and even dangerous place to travel through. 12. Your intuition. When it comes to making decisions or judging someone's character, when all else has been considered, people always tell you to not forget to look into your intuition. This intuition may also be referred to or associated as a sixth sense. Sure, maybe you listened to your intuition and you weren't always right, but you still may have felt a strange feeling of something you couldn't describe before. Your intuition serves as a feeling of knowledge, despite having no proof, which kind of goes against very simple scientific principles. Psychology suggests we subconsciously acquire this knowledge, yet scientists cannot give us any definitive answer. 11. The Amazon rings. Across the landscape of the Brazilian and Bolivian Amazon, you'll find ditches in the shape of rings, seemingly human-made structures. Yet what's amazing is that these structures were found to predate the age of the actual rainforest altogether. Researchers have yet to figure out just what ancient peoples could have used these rings for. A few theorize that they might have been used for ceremonial or defense reasons. 10. Out-of-body experience. Out-of-body experiences have been reported for thousands of years in different cultures around the world. The actual term, referred to as OBE, was only introduced in 1943. This gets described as one feeling as if they're floating out of their body. Oftentimes, OBE gets associated with sleep paralysis. When subjects finally do wake up from an OBE, they realize it wasn't that big of a deal, just that it felt like a completely real nightmare where they couldn't move their body, to put it mildly. Though scientists explain that it can be induced by all sorts of things from hallucinogens or dehydration, as for why it happens naturally, no one knows. 9. The Taquis spheres. During the 1930s, workmen for the United Fruit Company were busy clearing the jungle in Costa Rica to make way for banana plantations when they came across the spheres. But the spheres would not be officially investigated until a decade later. It seems like they couldn't gather much since the stone spheres of Costa Rica remain a mystery. They range in size, with the biggest measuring to 6.6 feet or 2 meters in diameter and weighing up to 15 tons. 8. The Lost City of Giants. As recently as 2012, explorers discovered the remains of an old civilization in the rainforest of Ecuador. Called the Lost City of Giants, this old city consists of an ancient pyramid complex embedded into the jungle. No one had reported seeing the structures ever before. The steep inclined walls consist of stone blocks that weigh 2 tons and were observed to have been sculpted by human hands. Giants refers to how large the tools were, found amongst the other artifacts left behind. 7. The Belmez Faces. It was the year 1971 in the Spanish village of Belmez, where residents came across quite a strange sight on the floor of their house, which appeared to be a face. The concrete seemed to have faces of strange people embedded into them. Residents of the house on Calle Real 5 had the floor destroyed and remade, only for the faces to re-emerge. Many people could write this off as the Belmez residents drawing the faces themselves for attention, but apparently, they never took any profit for the many visitors that came to Belmez to check it out. 6. The Ark of the Covenant. You would think that the 2 stone tablets where Moses wrote the 10 Commandments, kept in a wooden chest covered in gold, wouldn't have been so easily lost. And yet no one knows where the Ark of the Covenant is. As described in the book of Exodus, this gold chest holds one of the most important documents in the history of Abrahamic religions. 5. The Yonaguni Monument. Sometimes called the Atlantis in Japan, the Yonaguni Monument remains a mystery to historians. Discovered in 1987, a diver came across these man-made stepped monoliths. The structure features shapes made from mudstones and sandstones, with the largest portion reaching a height of 90 feet or 27 meters tall, 16 feet or 5 meters below sea level. 4. Deja vu. The feeling of deja vu can leave one confused when it happens. Unlike in The Matrix, where deja vu means there could be a potentially dangerous glitch, deja vu in real life is relatively harmless. You just feel as if you've experienced this experience already, and most times, you cannot pinpoint when. The phrase translates from French to mean already seen, and it can be an eerie feeling sometimes. It might be a glimpse into previous lives. 3. The Stone in the Sea of Galilee. In 2013, a reported 32-foot or 10-meter-high stone circle measuring to a diameter of 230 feet or 70 meters was found in the Sea of Galilee. Scientists discovered it to be over 4,000 years old, said to be from the 3rd millennium BC. It features 3 concentric circles, with stones stacked on top of each other like a cairn. 2. Tentacles in the sky. In the past century, people have reported seeing tentacles in the sky, with one of the more recent reports coming from California in 2015. The man who looked up into the California sky that day described seeing an aircraft that moved like an aquatic creature. Some say the shapes are merely chemtrails in the sky, and of course, lots of people disagree. In 2009, a group of people in Lincolnshire, UK reported seeing tentacle-flying objects in the sky before a wind turbine got destroyed. 1. Stonehenge. It draws in millions of tourists every year, ranking Stonehenge as the 75th most popular destination in the world of the 94 World Heritage Sites. You can find Stonehenge in Wiltshire, southern England. Archaeologists say that this prehistoric monument was made somewhere between 3000 BC to 2000 BC. Each stone measures around 13 feet or 4 meters high and 2 feet or 2.1 meters wide. Though evidence shows that it may have been used for ceremonial or memorial purposes, no one has been able to definitively say what in the world the significance behind Stonehenge is or was.